for an anti-gay Christian group abducted a teenage girl and forced her to have sex on camera.
Break that down again. Explain her step by step. What is she?
That's just the opening paragraph, homie.
Right.
A female lawyer for an anti-gay Christian group abducted a teenage girl and forced her to have sex on camera while on bail for child pornography charges. It is alleged.
Alleged. We got to say that. No. But by the look of her mugshot, she did it.
Lisa Byron, 43, was arrested by FBI agents in a Manchester courtroom while awaiting a hearing on district-level charges of possessing pornographic material on her computer. A few hours later, she was taken into court in Concord, New Hampshire, accused of taking a teenage girl to Canada, making her engage in sexual activity, and convincing her to let it be filmed.
I mean, like, how is this even real? How did this really happen?
If there wasn't a real mugshot in a real court case, you'd think this was like an episode of Law and Order.
Sure.
Law and Order SVU. This is
when you're in this spot and you're that person, you can't do this.
You know, that's why that guy that created those Law and Order shows is a fucking genius, and that's why there's a billion of those shows, is because he is great at taking real stories and then putting them on TV because you couldn't make this shit up. Mm-hmm. But it really happens. Byron, who is associated with the anti-gay group Alliance Defending Freedom, was initially arrested after a man walked into the Manchester Police Department claiming he had seen pornography on her computer.
How do you see it? Was she like looking at it? How do you see it?
It's weird though. Why? It just says possessing pornography. It doesn't say child porn. In the initial thing, it said child pornography in the opening paragraph, but here it doesn't. Okay, now I'm sorry.
Keep reading.
After a search of her computer, police found 5 videos and 2 pictures of a teenage girl on her computer. Byron was released on bail on 7 charges of possessing child pornography earlier this month.
Now, is it the 18-year-old girl that looks 30, or is it like 11?
Oh, you know it's a young,
right?
Yeah, it's got to be. And we'll never know, of course. After her arrest by the FBI, she allegedly told agents they would find a loaded pistol under her mattress.
Boy, it gets worse.
Great. They didn't find a weapon. Oh, more people with guns. Great. They didn't find a weapon, but they did discover 200 rounds of ammunition in her Manchester home. Yeah. What did she need 200 rounds of ammunition for? Any good reason? No.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. Just in case they tried to come and take her guns. At the hearing on federal level charges, the prosecutor also alleged that 2 witnesses have testified to seeing Byron with ecstasy, marijuana, and cocaine. Sounds like a good time. Byron sent a text to the man who turned her into police, warning him to watch his back forever. Forever. Other youngsters have been subjected to Byron's sexual activity and drug use.
Jesus.
What a crazy bitch. Are you kidding me? Forever.
Yeah, so, I believe there's more to this here.
Unbelievable.
So go ahead.
Byron's lawyer, Jim Moyer, asked the judge to consider his client's lack of criminal history and that she had attended all of her court appearances. Lottie frickin' da. We should take it into consideration that she did what she was supposed to?
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
By breaking the fucking law. So if you were to say, how would you say that again?
I would say that she sent him a text saying that he needed to watch his back forever.
Forever.
I wish we were repeating it, but it is really him just saying that.
I wish we lived at a time where wrestling was that cool.
I know, right? Where people believed it that much.
Oh, man.
He had those people in a fucking frenzy.
Awesome.
Oh, shit.
That's funny.
So after after her lawyer asked, please take into consideration that she's never been a criminal before and she's attended all of her court appearances. But Judge Landia McCafferty remanded her into custody after saying she was not all that comfortable that she would comply with all the new bail conditions. She's due to stand trial in January on federal charges of transportation with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity.
Now, since it's girl on girl, will she get a lesser charge? Like, this was a guy and a girl, totally different deal, right?
Probably. Let's see here. She's due to stand trial. Okay. intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, possession of child pornography, and 5 counts of sexual exploitation of children. She faces up to life in prison if convicted. But life won't be very long when she goes to prison. Byron, who was briefly associated with the Denias law offices in Manchester before her arrest, has been suspended indefinitely. Well, no fucking shit. On Byron's Facebook page, she lists the Bible as her favorite book.
Come on.
Yay, religion.
Yeah, see what that does?
That makes it okay. That makes it okay. So, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. Female lawyer, anti-gay Christian group.
You know what? I hope she goes to jail forever.
Forever. Let's hear it. He so badly wanted them to chant forever.
That's great.
That's so great. Oh man. So yeah, there you go. More shitty religious people in the news.
It doesn't add up.
Ugh. Oh man. So
what's the latest on your side of the fence, man? You got anything?
Oh man.
Well, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to play like the first 5 minutes or 6 minutes of the Dr. Brzezinski movie just to give you a teaser.
Yes,
this is like the opening scene that'll get you.
Okay, because this
right
was I guess this is the perfect time to reveal that our next kind of 3 hour, one subject.
Now, this is what I kind of want to throw at you. We could almost do this the day of the UFC thing, because remember we're talking about doing it into the UFC event, not during the UFC event.
I think we should that should be separate. This should be like
problem.
A Saturday.
That's the only reason why I was saying.
Yeah, on a standalone. I think because our 9/11 show, I thought it was so awesome. I think it's still probably our best show because of the effort that was put into it. And I know you've been researching and putting a lot of effort into this one because it is something that I know nothing about and that I'm very interested in finding out more.
Everybody's affected by cancer and everybody's affected by, it's a major part of everybody's world in a weird way. So it's kind of this will show you a different side, and it's weird. I like the second or third bartending gig that I had at that job, so almost a year ago, right?
Right.
There's a cancer benefit, and this is for the doctors, and it's the doctors that super knowledgeable, and I mean like polite, and they tipped well. But it was like a nice party. At the very end of it, the lady's cleaning up, and it's like the party planner, and it's like the secretary, but it's. She knows her shit, right? So I just asked her, I'm like, because she was the one giving like the whole presentation. Mm-hmm. You ever heard of Dr. Brzezinski? She goes, no. What's that? And I start explaining it to her. She goes, there's not a cure. And I go, well, it's not that there's a cure. It's that you take this out of the body and you put this into the body. I go, I'm not really an expert on it. I go, but I could write down this documentary. I think you should check it out because she's like a higher up, in this thing. And I thought,
right.
Who knows, right? She goes. No, we're not interested in that. She goes, that sounds crazy, by the way. Like, fair enough. So people that are in the industry that correct cancer, like, they don't even think that anything's, no, it's just cancer. It's just,
unbelievable.
There is no cure for it. Well, this documentary doesn't only explain a cure. It explains how it takes out the bad and replaces it with good. And it's called, you know what? I'm not even going to ruin it because I'm going to screw it up. Yeah. This is the first couple minutes. This is
the teaser of our Dr. Brzezinski special coming up.
Yeah, this is a military guy who he had twins and he lost one of his to cancer, and he kind of explains what happened and how and what ended up happening and because of Dr. Brzezinski. So let's see here. Hold on, I didn't really cue it up right.
My name is Sergeant Rick Schiff. I'm an 11-year veteran of the San Francisco Police Department. I hold the department's highest Medal of Honor for bravery. That used to mean a lot more to me than it does now. What I'd like to talk to you about today is my now 7-year-old daughter. This is an identical twin. Her sister is now dead. Her sister, when she was 4 years old, Kristen, developed a highly malignant brain tumor that had spread throughout her spine and her brain. The doctors told us that we had really 2 options: take her home, let her die, or bring her in for massive dosages of chemo and radiation simultaneously. In either event, she was going to die. They were quite certain of that, and very quickly. Believing her only chance to be the standard route, we gave her the chemo and radiation. It burned her skull so bad she had second-degree burns and her hair never came back. To change her diapers, we had to wear rubber gloves because her urine was so toxic and it burned her. At the end of 6 months, miraculously, she survived the standard treatment, although there was a high expectation she wouldn't. She still had cancer. We were told, sorry, we've done everything we can. Now she's going to die, probably within a couple of months. My wife and I, choosing not to accept that, started reading. The first book I picked up, the 3rd chapter, discussed Dr. Brzezinski. As you may guess, I have some expertise in fraud. In fact, I'm quite certain there are enough attorneys in the room that I could be vordeered as an expert in fraud. And I conducted my own investigation. I have no doubt the man is not a fraud. I have no doubt that he does what he does out of earnest belief that his medicine works. And now you're in a position to judge for yourselves whether it works or not, but it's well established by the FDA that it's non-toxic. 18 months later, we took my daughter off the anti-neoplastin. She had not died. She had no signs of tumor. She remained free for 18 months of cancer. Within a month, the cancer was widespread in her brain. We put her back on Brzezinski's. By the way, at the objections of our doctors, for some reason felt that it had failed her. We put her back on. Within 9 weeks, the tumor was completely gone. She died last July of neurological necrosis. Her brain fell apart from the radiation. The autopsy showed that she was completely cancer-free. Out of 52 cases of that disease ever, no one died cancer-free, just Chrissy. So she didn't die of a terminal illness. She died of my inability to care for her properly, and she died from bad advice. She died because there's a government institution that disseminates false information and is not looking out for the welfare of the people. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I swore an oath 11 years ago, and I think most of us in this room swore it at one time or another, to uphold the Constitution. It says life right in the beginning.
Wow, that is powerful.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. So
Holy shit.
and this guy's in court and has to spend a lot of his money battling people that sue him, and it's pretty disgusting. And basically, he won't sell his patent. Is what the documentary explains. He's not selling his patent. He doesn't want to sell his patent because he knows what happens. It just goes away. So
Right.
he's been fighting since like the 70s.
Wow.
And to go to him, you have to come out of pocket, and you can only go to him once you're deemed fatal by the Cancer Institute. So he has like, and I'm making the number up, but I think it's like 43% success rate with fatal patients. And people look at it like, that's not a great number. Then you're like, with fatal, meaning
Yeah, there's no helping him.
43% is a pretty good number. You
Right.
know, look, if you're going
1%
to die,
is fucking awesome.
If you're going to die and you're in the hospital and they go, you're going to have a 43% chance of living. You're at least like, all right, you're 5 or I have 3.
There's no reason to believe that man didn't. He's a police officer.
Yeah.
Is there supposed to be? Is there a more honest person that they're supposed to be? I mean, you showed me the video, but you can hear the power in his words. You can hear the truth.
Yeah. He was well spoken.
He's not making something up there. You could tell that he is speaking from the heart of something that he really happened. His daughter died cancer free, but she died because her brain fell apart.
He's in a court case for Dr. Brzezinski. Like, he's there to stick up for him.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
Unbelievable.
That's the only reason why you know. It's the only reason why you know that there's so much money that trades hands. In that, people lose jobs.
How is that not being? How did that not get broadcast on every news station on the planet,
dude? And when you watch this documentary, you get so angry because the documentary is about all the people that are just attacking him. They're attacking him. He's been doing it forever.
All he's trying to do is save people's lives.
Right.
Terrible.
So it's so crazy. So
Dr. Brzezinski.
That's just a little wetting of the whistle. Do we have LPJ anywhere? Is he calling in? Or
he went to get food. He said he was going to call as soon as he got back. And he gambled and he crapped out as the.
Well, why don't we give a little teasers? What's going on in the MMA world? I know it's loaded right now.
Well, yeah, we're fresh off of the return of what is arguably one of the top 3 fighters in the world, pound for pound, George St. Pierre. Coming off, and now he's won. So now
he looked really good too.
Yeah, man. I didn't see it, so you guys can kind of talk about that. The undercard, Johnny Hendricks looked pretty amazing from what I understand.
Knocked the shit.
Yeah,
as a campman.
He's we should hear that, but see, there he is. So it's time to get his intro ready so that we can give him his proper introduction.
Chin to chin. Chin to chin. Chin to chin.